Clemson minus 21.
Oh, shit! Wow!
I already knew it.
The Cardinals.
I already knew
Wow!
The Cardinals.
Good evening, degenerates, and welcome back to another episode of DJ Hours. You will notice Ryan is on my right now. He was there. If you paid attention last week,
He's back.
if you paid attention last week, Ryan was not here. No, we did not kick him off the show because he hasn't hit a mortal
Probably
lock
shouldn't,
yet.
to be
Yeah,
honest.
maybe
We probably
we
should.
But it's exciting to fade me. You know, you make money.
Ryan was traveling. He's a
Sure.
busy man. He's got a lot of business deals going
Lot
on.
of
So
business.
too busy for the podcast, but he's back now. And week 5 is here. We had an interesting week last week. Throw the records up here. Ryan absolutely crushed it first week off the pod.
I
21 and 13. Great week.
I mean, I'm back.
I fell from my throne.
You did, but you're still 50% on the year.
Yeah.
So 50-50.
Still respectable.
Yeah. And then Mario and I both were one game under 500. So not
Dude,
you know,
we fucking
terrible.
killed it as a.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
as
not
a
bad.
unit, we did
Yeah.
well. But on the season, Mario and I are both 45 or 46 and 45%. So we still need bigger weeks than at 500 to get us there.
All of us to 50%.
Yeah, I can't. I couldn't throw a fish in the ocean right now. I'm pretty bad.
Well, this is an
for
NFL.
college.
So.
No, this isn't NFL. We'll see what's going on. And Mortal's just depressing. 1 and 2 on the week. Mike hit his mortal lock. He's the only one now above 500 on the season. 3 and 1 in Mortals.
Sharp.
Mario and I both lost back-to-back weeks now. We're facing potential relegation, and Ryan was already relegated and lost his
Continue.
mortal again. He's 0-4, so he's
Still
still
in
not in the
relegation.
parlay. So this is a big week for me and Mario. We need to fucking hit one of these parlays.
We gotta
Yeah.
hit
And
something.
if me or you lose, we're not in the parlay next week. So
Yeah.
there's a lot. There's a lot
You
going
guys go
on.
out. Michael's by himself.
Yeah, if we both lose and Ryan loses, it is a one-man parlay, otherwise known as a straight bet. So you
Some may
have a
say.
pretty decent chance to win in that situation, just not as much money.
Free money.
But let's get right into the games. There are a couple games we want to talk about. First, the biggest game of the week is Georgia-Bama.
Yeah.
We had so much to
Standalone
say about this that we filmed an entirely separate episode, like a short, talk segment on it, like 10 minutes.
You're gonna wanna
We're
watch
posting
it.
that tomorrow on Friday. So
Boom.
definitely tune in to watch this Georgia-Bama talk. It's an electric game. I mean, you'll kind of see our picks if you stay
Game
to
of
the
the
end.
year.
Our picks will
So
be in the
far.
cards, so
You
you'll
did.
kind of see which way we're leaning in the cards.
Uh-huh.
But we talked through the whole game. It's going to be absolutely electric. It's the Saturday night game. You got to tune in for that. But the next game, we got a couple more games I want to talk about, and then we're going to give you every pick we're taking this week, as we always do, and give you a free roll parlay if you're subscribed. So if you're not, go ahead and click that button, and let's go ahead and get into the action.
Bing,
Illinois at Penn State, Big Ten action. Big spread for a ranked matchup.
Yeah.
Penn State 17.5 home favorites. 47.5 is the total. So they think Penn State's going to kind of walk over Illinois here. Ryan, I know you're an Ohio State fan. You've been watching the Big Ten really closely. How do you think this Penn State team lines up as their first, big opponent at home?
Yeah, I think this will be. I think it'll be close to start, and then just Penn State, in my opinion, with the better offense and better defense, will end it better. I just don't. Illinois team has nothing to them, in my opinion. They just have the same identity they've had their entire time being in the Big Ten, which is like Iowa, run the ball, play good defense, and hope to win. At the end of the game, I think Drew L.R. is going to just kill this team. I think the spread. I was shocked that the spread was this big. I thought it was going to be like in this like high, like 8 to 11. 17 and a half just tells me that like I thought maybe Illinois is a little better. I must be wrong because I think Penn State is going to be an ass whooping, and I love the over. Penn State's going to. I think they scored like 59 last week or whatever it was. They're
Yeah.
going to score a billion this week.
Yeah, so I really like Illinois here, but it's not because I don't like Penn State, which I do not like Penn State. But Illinois I've actually been pretty impressed with. Looking at their games, they played Eastern Illinois. They won 45-0. They then played Kansas, who at the time I believe was ranked, and beat them 23-17. They played Central Michigan, beat them up 30-9. And then last week went into Nebraska, who was ranked at the time, coming off a huge win in Colorado, and won 31-24 in their first Big Ten game on the road. So they've been relatively battle-tested. I mean, as far as this is not an SEC schedule, but for the Big Ten teams, this has to be one of the best
Tougher.
strength of record so far in the conference. I mean, they played 2 ranked teams at the time they played them, and they won both those games, one at home, one away. Penn State hasn't played a ranked team. They played West Virginia, won 34-12. Bowling Green won by 7 at home, 34-27, and then played Kent State last week, and like you said, beat them 56-0. So I haven't seen a lot I like from this Penn State team, especially not the Bowling Green game. That scared the shit out of me. I bet on Bowling Green. I loved it, but I was like, what in the world is this Penn State team doing? So I'm just not confident in their ability to cover big numbers. They didn't cover against West Virginia. week 1. There was a massive spread. I think it was like 30-something. They almost lost the game to Bowling Green. Then they covered last week was their first
Wait,
coverage.
no, they covered West Virginia. That was the joke on the pod.
What was the spread?
It was like 7.5. You guys all had it, and they covered.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. You're right. Why did I think it was a 30-point spread?
It was like another Bowling Green. Probably you're talking about.
Bowling Green was 27.5, and I hammered
Yeah.
Bowling Green. I don't know, whatever it was. But yeah, I just don't love this Penn State team and their ability to stay outside the number. So I'm not predicting an upset here. I think Penn State wins by 10. So I like it. I think it's pretty well within this number for Illinois.
Yeah, I'm not super confident in this pick. I'm gonna go with Penn State here, and the main reason for that
Sandusky.
is no. The main reason for that is that they have the 15th best defense in the nation so far. They allow an average of 13 points per game, which is really, really impressive. Again, they haven't really played the most impressive of opponents. Illinois, on the other hand, actually has a pretty stout defense as well.
I was going to say, they've looked pretty good.
They look really good. And actually, Penn State's coach said the highlight for this game is going to be how their offensive line 1-to-1 matchups are. So I think this is going to be a statement game for Penn State. I think if they really want to show, that they're still relevant, especially for within their conference, but also just in general of national rankings, they really need to show up and show out here. So I'm going to have a little bit of faith. I'm going to go with Penn State minus 17.5. And I'm also going to go with the under. I just think that Penn State's defense is going to really show up here, and they're going to hold Illinois to pretty much nothing.
Okay, there you have it. Mario, round us out.
All right. To the viewers watching, I'm going to tell you what you should do, and I'm going to tell you what I will be doing.
Okay.
So in this game, right,
What should you do?
what you should do, right, is you should look at this line, and you should feel, oh, Illinois plus 17.5. That's what you should feel, because it's a trap line. Because 17.5 is just way too many points
Yeah.
for this Penn State team to cover.
Way too
So
much.
then you should catch that, be like, oh, wait, this seems too easy. Trap line. This has to be just a Penn State murder.
Wow.
So that's what you should do. So if you're at home betting, bet the Penn State minus 17.5. Play it safe. Don't bet it huge. Just put a respectable amount.
All in.
No.
For Tyler, it might be all in. For me, just respectable, safe bet. What I will be doing is I will be sacrificing myself. I'll be going into the trap. I have to make sure it's a trap.
They don't want you in those trenches.
So I personally will be betting the Illinois plus 17.5.
Throw yourself in
Not
the
too
fire.
big, respectable amount.
You gotta taste the food to see if it's.
I'm gonna
poison,
bet it
you know?
Trap
responsibly.
me, please.
Yeah. bet
Thank you. May I
responsibly.
have another?
Yes, exactly. Double it, pass it to the next person. So yeah, and if I had to take, I'm not really loving over under. I would probably bet over if I had to, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna take the Illinois.
It is more fun.
Definition
that
of
way. It is
Mario's
more fun
cards
betting the
lately.
over. It's
It
more
is
fun betting
no,
the
it is.
over.
It's more fun, and if everything that I'm analyzing right now,
Viewers have no idea.
my analysis is correct. Penn State should murder them, then it would go over.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm not gonna be betting
The
them.
viewers
Oh
are
my
so.
God.
I'm not.
There's no
Viewers
way.
have heard you say 4 different sides.
There's
in this
no way
game.
that came out clean.
No.
Um,
Yeah, no, I'm trying to guide the viewer. Okay, viewer, Penn State over me. I'm betting Illinois plus 17.
There you go. There you have
And
it.
the under.
Speaking of trap
No,
lines.
not the under. Not the under.
Speaking of trap lines, Louisville at Notre Dame, undefeated
Oh, yeah.
Louisville, rolling quarterback, top 8 in Heisman odds. Notre Dame, home favorites by 6.5 points. That's a lot of points
There's
for
a lot of points
Notre
for
Dame.
this Notre Dame.
Totals 47.5. This isn't an ACC matchup. Obviously, we know Notre Dame, pretends they're in the ACC and then gets a whole lot of money for televising their own games.
Yep.
Absolute professional bag chasers, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish are. Total 47.5. I want to start on this one.
It's easy.
I'm all over Notre Dame.
No.
I'm all over Notre Dame.
Really?
Yes.
Fighting Irish.
Wow. Couldn't saw
Let me
that
tell you.
coming.
No, it has nothing to do with why you guys think I will be all over Notre Dame. So, Notre Dame's only loss this season. No, they
We're
played
on
4
fire
games.
right
They
now.
played 4 games. They
not
played
bad.
4 games. They
played
played
I
4
know
games.
you.
So they went into Texas A&M week 1,
Yep.
won by 10 against Texas A&M team that we were like, oh wait, they're bad. Wait, no, they're good again. They're
Yeah.
ranked all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Who knows? They lost to Northern Illinois by 2. in
Great team.
Probably the worst offensive showing you've ever seen. They then went into Purdue Big Ten team, and won
Murdered.
66-7.
Yeah.
And then they played home against Miami, Ohio, and won 28-3. So
Riley Leonard, first passing touchdown. On
yeah,
the
that was
season.
crazy. I didn't believe that stat when I read that.
I believed it immediately.
Yeah.
66.
I knew it.
No, but what I'm going to say about this Notre Dame team is this. I don't think they're very good, but they've definitely not played bad this season outside of the one game. I mean, beating A&M in A&M, which is one of the hardest few places to play in college football.
They say.
But
It was a good
Yeah.
win.
It was
I'm
a
just-
good win. No,
I'll
it's a
give
good
it.
win.
I mean, we were only week 5 in college football, week 4 or 5 right now. So a lot of teams, it's week 5. A lot of teams have played 4 or 3 games, but a lot of teams haven't played anyone.
Yeah.
And we kind of mentioned this when we were talking about Alabama's schedule or whoever else it was. Like, this Notre Dame team is one of the only teams that's actually played multiple Power 5 schools already. So they played in A&M, won by 10, lost to Northern Illinois, who then got ranked afterwards.
Still
They
ranked.
then went into Purdue, Big Ten, and won by 60 points. So there's something there with this team. Louisville is like the people's darling this year. No one gives a fuck about them, but somehow they're just winning games. And it was the same as last year where they might sneak in the ACC championship. I don't think so. They played Jacksonville State, Austin P, and Georgia Tech. And they
Hey, don't sleep on Georgia Tech.
well, yeah, Georgia
let's
Tech's
keep on
fine,
Tech.
but they won by 12, and it was a home game. I'm just not impressed with Louisville. Their quarterback's slightly overrated, and I think Notre Dame can just run the ball and win. So I think they win by probably 21 points here. So I love Notre Dame minus 6.5, and I'm going under in a game where Louisville scores under 10 points.
I actually like the under.
The under's not a bad
I like
bet.
the
I
under.
mean, I'm just gonna bet against Riley Leonard when it has any significance for the rest of the year. If they somehow, there's a world where Notre Dame does well in this game, and somehow Louisville just doesn't understand to just stop the run, and you win the game. So maybe they don't stop the run, but I think Louisville, for a while, they have a always like relevant defense. They're a good defense. They're
Oh, yeah.
always comparable to good teams, and I think that they're going to be good enough to just slow down this run. And I'm telling you, if you stop, I think it's Jordan Love, something Love in their backfield who's been balling this year. If you stop him and Riley Leonard just running, you are so easily going to win this game. Like, it's not even going to be a sweat.
Jeremiah Love.
Jeremiah Love. Like, I just think that if you just somehow stop the run, which I get, it's easier said than done, but if you stop the run, you literally completely take away from this Notre Dame offense 100%. They have nothing else. And I think this Louisville teams look good. Georgia Tech, they covered and they look great. And Georgia Tech is they're a surprisingly good team. Like, they're nothing great, but
team.
they're a good team. And I just think that
Wonderful team.
Well,
I just think this is I like Louisville plus the points here. Maybe Notre Dame sneaks it out. Maybe it's a really low scoring game and the better running offense wins because Notre Dame does have a better running offense.
Yeah.
But I do love the Louisville plus the points here. So Louisville's
Okay, yeah, and just one stat to close this out before we get into the cards on their rushing offense. They are arguably the best rushing team in football. You can say they have played 4 games, so the stats, they have another game than some teams.
No, I would say that.
Jeremiah Love has rushed for 340 yards, and Riley Leonard 322, and then their backup running back Price has rushed for 200.
No,
So their top
they're the
3
best. I mean,
running
that's
backs
their everything.
they combine for literally like 900 yards.
yeah.
We thought
the
Michigan was a
ground.
running team. You haven't
No,
seen that.
this is a full-on running team. I just it's going to be, you're totally right. If Louisville can stop it,
Yeah.
I just don't know if they can. But we'll see. It's going to be an interesting game. That's why I do love the under though, because I don't think either of these teams are going to be able to throw.
No.
Mike, how are you feeling about this? Quote unquote ACC showdown.
Yeah, I mean, I just, I honestly kind of hate to do it, but I'm also going to go with Notre Dame here.
Hey, there we go.
I just don't think that Louisville has any kind of offense that's going to be able to scheme against Notre Dame. The reason I say that is Louisville is obviously a super rush heavy team, and Notre Dame is, they're not great, but they're top 30 in the nation, which again isn't fantastic, but
good.
it's up there.
It's pretty good.
And not only that, but on the flip side, Louisville is very explosive in their passing, although they don't do it very often. They're actually the 3rd in the nation for an average of 12 yards per pass play that they do.
Oh, people are in love with this passing offense. So I said he's going all the way up in Heisman odds.
But with that being said, Notre Dame is also a top 15 defensively when it comes to yards allowed per pass. And so I just think there's an answer to every, possibility that Louisville may have to score and put up some kind of points, keep themselves in this ball game. And Notre Dame minus 6.5 here.
All right, Mario.
This is going to be an easy Louisville plus 6.5. Notre Dame
Easy.
can win this game. I don't care. I don't have anything against this Notre Dame team.
But by 3.
Yeah, they can win by 3. They can win by 6. Just not 6. They won't
Or by
cover.
4.
Win
2
by
safeties.
Possibly. I don't know.
That'd be one hell of a way to get 4 points.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be a very high scoring game, so I like the under. And I just think Louisville can hang in there. It might be an early lead for Notre Dame, but I see Louisville coming back. Personally, I think they can win outright.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I like it. All right. That being said, like I said, we're talking Georgia Bama next week or tomorrow. But we're giving. Make sure you include your Georgia Bama picks in the cards because we got to keep these on the record. This is a big game. We're telling you every pick we're taking right now. So let's get right into the action.
Alrighty, getting into these picks. Starting off, as I do with every week, Colorado.
There we are. We're on Colorado. Side.
Colorado
Oh, God.
plus 14.5
Wow,
against
you're
UCF.
on them this week.
They're going to lose. No, they're going to lose.
Okay.
They're going to be down big. Shador, late fourth
Shador.
quarter. They lose by 14. They cover that point.
Wow, that's so sharp.
It's just so sharp. Miami minus 18.5 against Virginia Tech. Shout out Cam Ward. Dude's balling. Oklahoma State plus 5.5 against Kansas State. I hate Kansas State. I just added them to my hate list.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Ole Miss minus 17.5 against Kentucky. Shout out Jackson Dart. Dude's balling.
Shout out.
Northern Illinois plus 7.5 against NC State.
so
I just
sharp.
love this team. I don't know why.
Something about them.
Something about them.
They're electric.
Talk about a team I love. James Madison minus 20.5 against Ball
They
State.
dog walked.
And the
North Carolina.
over 56.5.
that team, that offense is unreal.
They just don't stop. I love it. Boston College minus 12.5 against Western Kentucky. Texas A&M minus 3.5 against Arkansas. Ohio State, shout out Ryan, shout out
Bang.
cameraman Kevin, minus 24.5 against Michigan State.
Free.
Bama plus 2.5 against Georgia.
Ooh.
We talked about it.
How you doing?
Go Tigers. LSU minus 20.5 against South Alabama.
Don't sleep on South Alabama.
Don't sleep on South Alabama.
They can score.
And the most electric offense, Washington State plus 7.5 against Boise State, and the over 64.
You always bet the over.
This game's gonna have
Mateer's
100
insane.
total points,
Bang.
that.
and that's the card.
Bang. I love that. That was a great card.
Thank you.
All right. Starting with games that we've already talked about at the top of the list is Georgia minus 2.5 against Bama at Bama. Georgia, Bama under 48.5. And then Penn State minus 17.5 versus Illinois. And diving into the actual card the same way I do while we are number 1 in the nation, baby, every single week. Texas minus 38.5 against Mississippi State. First SEC game. And we are going to dog walk. Texas, Mississippi State under 60.5. Mississippi State is not going to score against this defense. We are going to come out swinging.
Damn.
And there's no need for us to...
55-0.
Yeah,
Quick
55.
question: who is starting at quarterback?
I believe it's going to be Quinn.
Quinn's back.
I believe it's Quinn. Moving on, Navy minus 3.5 against UAB. I love this play. Was possibly going to be immortal, but I chose a better line that is far superior. USC minus 15.5 against Wisconsin.
Bounce back.
The Cheeseheads. USC, Wisconsin over 50.5.
Oh, so we won't need the cheeseheads a little bit.
A little bit.
Or just Lincoln. Lincoln Riley.
or Lincoln Riley.
Or Lincoln Riley. He can get there.
UNLV minus 3.5 against Fresno State.
Great game.
Love that line.
I think I'm a fish for this. So if I'm a fish, I'm swimming, but
Fresno State.
Yeah.
it's cool. Oklahoma bounce back game minus 2.5 against Auburn. I hate this line, but I love this line.
I love it.
UCF minus 14.5 against Colorado. Colorado is SCO buffs off a fucking cliff. I hate
I've
them.
heard that a lot in the cards.
North Carolina plus 1.5 against Duke at Duke.
North Carolina's poverty.
Mario, you did this to me last week. So continuing the trend, South Alabama plus 20.5 at LSU. And South Alabama, LSU under 65.5.
That's impossible.
LSU, your offense is anemic, and I hate you.
anemic.
SMU minus 5.5 versus Florida State. Florida State is
That's a
poverty.
wild line.
Go Mustangs.
SMU, FSU under 47.5. I can't believe I'm banging an SMU
That's
under,
That hits.
but it's because DJU
That's fair. If it's
cannot do
40-0,
anything
that's
at
not
all.
fair. It's
And
not
so,
That hits.
Go.
lastly but not leastly, what I have learned you should be betting every single fucking week. Washington State plus 7.5 against
been
Boise
saying
State, and
Over.
Washington State, Boise State over 64.5.
They're the new SMU.
I love that card. That's a nice card. I'm starting my card.
I like a lot of pieces to it, hate some pieces to it.
I'm starting
Yeah.
my card the exact same way as Mike actually this week. I'm switching shit up because I can't find anything right. So I need to find some footing. Georgia -2.5 against Bama. Like I said, we get into this game tomorrow in our extended episode, so I'm going to leave it to that. You can go watch that
Stay
for the
tuned.
full thing. It's pretty electric. Illinois +17.5 and Notre Dame -6.5. We already kind of dove into those. Next, Miami -18.5 against Virginia Tech. This Miami team will continue to run up the score on every team they play because they're finally top 10. They are, I believe, number 7 in the country right now. And every time an SEC team loses above them, they just are going to keep sliding up
And they're playing
and build that resume to get to the point where if they lose the ACC championship, they still are in the
not a
playoffs.
big deal, yeah.
So it's a very, very big thing for them to keep putting up points, putting up stats. They want a Heisman Trophy player coming from that offense in Cam Ward. So I'm going to be betting Miami big against all these mediocre teams they play the rest of this year. Kansas State -5.5 against Oklahoma State. Big bounce back week. The fact that they're still favored here, I think, says a lot. And I think they smack him big here. Same thing with NC State. NC State -7.5 against NIU. I'm betting bounce backs this week. NC State got walked over by Clemson. We saw a little life with that new freshman starting quarterback towards the end of the game, so I think NC State pulls it out. Boston College -12.5 against Western Kentucky. Minnesota +9.5 at Michigan. This line, very interesting to me. I figured Michigan would be much larger favorites given they pulled out as a home underdog last week. Minnesota might have something in the tank here, and hopefully they watch the SC tape so they can just guard against the run. So kind of holding on to this as a thread, kind of a Hail Mary pick, but I do think they stay in this number. BYU +3.5 at Baylor. Baylor's not good, and BYU's offense looks unbelievable. So,
Weird line.
this weird line. I'm surprised they're not favorites. I guess it is a road game in conference, so maybe it's kind of a pick 'em in the scheme
No
of
bounce
things.
back for Baylor.
No bounce back. I'm only bouncing back on like
Bears don't bounce. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that.
Ooh, they just hit the floor and die. I like that. Let's go BYU. Nebraska -10.5 at Purdue. Purdue fucking sucks.
They do.
Oh.
Really, really
They
bad.
do.
So
That's the Boilermakers
yeah,
you're talking
Dylan
about.
Raiola, he'll dress up, put on his makeup, look like Patrick Mahomes, and go throw 5 touchdowns. South Florida +6.5 at Tulane. They win this outright. This would be my upset pick of the week, as well as this next pick, Sam Houston +8.5 at Texas State. But love both those upsets outright on the money line. Bounce back week for USC -15.5 against Wisconsin. Wisconsin in the running with Purdue for the worst team in the Big Ten. Love USC killing them here.
Wisconsin.
Liberty -3.5 at App State.
Liberty.
UNLV -3.5 against Fresno State. Might be a fish, but I'm riding that one.
Swim.
Oklahoma -2.5 at Auburn. We had those same back-to-back, UNLV and Oklahoma in the card. I was like, did you read this shit?
I like that.
sign.
No, I
Colorado
like that.
+14.5 and outright at UCF.
No.
go
Colorado
Buffs.
4-1
Off
moving
a
into
cliff.
next week.
No.
Getting on fire. Texas -38.5 against Mississippi State. I will bet this until
Hook 'em
they do
horns,
not cover.
baby.
Prove me wrong. Until then, keep winning by 50.
Good teams
And
win,
lastly,
great teams cover.
And I want to talk about this game for a second. Clemson -21.5 against Stanford. We haven't got into really talking about Clemson a lot since the Georgia game, where they just got shit on, and I haven't had much to talk about. But quickly, I want to take a minute because this is my team. This offense, the offense I was hoping we would see, and I'm not talking scoring wise or who we're playing. The plays we are calling and the throws Cade is opting to throw. This is what I wanted to see against Georgia. This is what I wanted to see preseason. I said the Garrett Riley offense. This is why you bring him in. We haven't seen this offense since Tony Elliott left to go, and Jeff Scott, our quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator, left to go be a head coach at Virginia and head coach at USF. We haven't had any offense since then. We brought in Garrett Riley. He didn't have time with Cade. He finally had an offseason. For some reason, they didn't call these plays against Georgia. I wish they would have even tried. But we are throwing the ball to our receivers down the field. Cade is confident. He's running around. He's hyping up the crowd. He's getting on the sidelines, getting in people's faces. And I've told everyone this take off camera, but if Clemson played an average ACC team week 1, Cade Klubnik would be the Heisman favorite, if not the second Heisman favorite. Right now, he has 11 passing touchdowns in 2 games, playing 5 quarters of football, 700 passing yards in 2 games. And the only reason he's not, obviously, is Clemson got shit on by Georgia. They did nothing on offense in that game. But if, like the majority of other teams ranked in the top 10, we play FCS or non-ranked FBS teams week 1 and then go into, back-to-back ACC games. And we're 3-0 sitting there. We started ranked higher than Miami. Miami's already ranked 7. So if Clemson plays a nobody, we're probably ranked higher than Miami is right now.
Be top 5.
They've got Cam Ward up there. He's putting up same game average stats as Cam Ward the last 2 games. So I know we haven't played anyone super special, but this is finally a Clemson offense I can get excited about. We don't play anyone hard the entire season. Really, We have Florida State at Florida State. They're terrible. And then we play Louisville. So that was just my little aside on Clemson. I really wanted to get that out there. Shout out you guys for turning it around. It was really easy to pack up and give up, after, kind of like what happened last year against Duke. But if we keep doing this and get some momentum, I think you can beat Miami. I think you can get a bye in the playoffs. And who knows? Let's play some ball come postseason. So Clemson minus 21.5 against Stanford. We don't blow this one.
All right, that was beautifully said. I like Clemson this week also. But starting off with my card, Miami, Virginia Tech over 55.5. Michigan minus 9.5 versus Minnesota. I think they're going to continue winning. BYU, Baylor over 45.5. Points there. Nebraska, Purdue under 49.5 because Purdue might not score a point. They're terrible. Indiana minus 6.5. Navy, UAB under 56.5. James Madison minus 20.5 versus Ball State because James Madison scores 1 million and they almost beat North Carolina by 100 last week. Liberty minus 3.5 versus App State. I don't know what happened to App State, but they might be the worst team in the country, dude. They're absolutely terrible. Marshall minus 3.5 versus Western Michigan. Eastern Michigan minus 13.5 versus Kent State. Now that is the real worst team in the country. Kent State, they've lost by 60 every single week. I feel bad for them and their families. Oklahoma, Auburn under 45.5. Both these teams suck. TCU, Kansas over 59.5. TCU team total over 29.5. Josh Hoover, God. UCF minus 14.5 against Colorado. It's going to be a murder. Like a murder scene. Colorado bust. Murder. But Shedeur will still get Shedeur, so you'll be fine. Duke minus 1.5 versus North Carolina. North Carolina's trash. Texas, team total over 49.5. They never stop scoring, so they're never going to stop. OSU, Michigan State over 49.5 million points. Clemson minus 21.5 against Stanford. I've been riding Clemson. They win 1 million, so it's easy.
Ride me.
I love riding you. Triple dip, North Texas minus 6.5. North Texas, Tulsa over 68.5. And North Texas team total over 34.5. Score a shitload of points. Alabama plus 2.5 versus Georgia. Penn State minus 17.5 versus Illinois. Woo! Memphis, Middle Tennessee over 16.5. Texas Tech team total over 30.5. Boise State, Washington State over of 60.5. We all love that pick. It's 1 million.
Yeah,
also have to have Washington State team total over 28.5. Murder. Oregon, UCLA over 55.5 points. South Alabama, LSU over 65.5. Come on now. I mean, it's absolutely free. And how I end every card, mask on or mask off. SMU mask team on. Total over 26.5.
We need you that for the
shit.
moral.
I'm not done. Sorry. I got too excited. Go ahead.
Whoa.
Hold on, keep that on for now.
Yeah,
That's
you
perfect.
keep that on until you win your mortal.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Until he wins his mortal, the bag stays on.
Now
That's
you
the
just have to deal with it ripped.
Week 5, the bag stays on.
The bag stays on.
Professional bag man over there. All right. Well,
The protection stays on.
No.
no.
Okay, sorry.
Mike, you don't use protection.
I hate
Sorry.
protection.
Yeah.
Never had the
But we're at that point in the episode where you need to lock in.
Lock the in.
As a viewer, you need to lock in. It's the mortal lock time. We haven't hit one of these. We were a couple points away from it 1 week. We've kind of, edged it. Ryan's 0-4.
I'm on fire!
0-4. So if you're fading him every week, you're undefeated.
You're on fire.
Best fade pick.
You're
of
on
the-
fire. But it's just us three in the parlay. So we're starting with us. And I'm going to go ahead and kickstart it, right? And then you start with the cards. I'll start with the mortals.
Yeah,
and we'll
yeah.
go through. This mortal this week, look, I'm in relegation watch. I'm 1-3. It's been really, really rough so far.
Bounce back.
I've won one mortal this year. All right? It's when I found my armed forces team.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And this is the best team in football. They might make the college football playoffs. I want this on the record now, by the way.
On the record.
Navy minus 3.5 at UAB.
Fuck the Dragon.
This offense
Yeah.
is insane. Their
Insane.
quarterback is so f***ing good.
So good.
The Navy might go ahead and just go undefeated and be the Power 5 school they let in if Boise State kind of falters in these next
How
couple weeks.
electric would that be?
That would be unbelievable.
so sick.
But this Navy team is really, really good, and I think their defense is legit. So give me Navy minus 3.5. Save me from relegation, please, and be the only.
Let's go armed
I
forces.
will.
Navy,
I will
baby!
mortal Navy next week if they do this for me. If you win me this bet, I'm mortaling you next week as well.
Wow.
Back to
I
back.
mean, that's a lot of pressure on Navy.
No
But
pressure.
Let's go Navy.
Pressure makes
They
diamonds.
fight f***ing wars. They
Pressure
fight
makes di-
Koreans.
Whoa.
In the
They
Korean
fight
War.
with the Koreans.
Not against your type of Korean.
We don't like
Whoa.
Koreans.
You're on both sides, Mike. You're swinging for both fences.
All right. Anyways, moving forward. My mortal, as somebody who is the only person with a winning record up
Fact.
The only one who can
here.
score.
3-1. Unbelievable picks that I'm giving out. And you better listen up here and you better bet large because I'm also betting large. So follow me into the
I'm
promised
hammering
land.
this pick.
Mike's
whatever it is.
large.
My mortal lock of this week is Oklahoma Auburn over 45.5.
love
And
that.
here is the reason why.
Love that.
This is going to be a massive get back game for Oklahoma.
Yep.
But not only that, Auburn. is 9-2 in overs, 1 underdog in the past 2 years.
That's sharp.
Wow, that's real sharp.
Unbelievable trend that
That's
they are
a
having.
sick stat.
I
That's a
absolutely
sick
love it.
stat.
Thank you.
Batman.
Thank you. And you know what? The thing is that for overs, it doesn't need to be off the weight of Auburn. It could actually be with the use of either Jackson Arnold or Michael Harvin Jr., who they found use with against Tennessee last week. But again, if it's neither of those two, Auburn has scored 73 points, 14 points against Cal. You know, we forget about
That was
that
a tough
one.
game.
45.
What about
And
last
then-
week?
And then 14, but I mean, we forget about that one too.
Oh no, you're on to something.
Either
there.
way.
It alternates.
It
If you looked at
alternates.
It go boom, 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 and now we're back on boom.
Jump, we're back on boom.
Last
Back
year-
on boom.
Also, the number is very low. Also, I'm just really good at picking
All
mortals.
in,
So
3-1,
just-
all in.
There's a reason I just went Armed Forces only mortal I've hit Navy, and then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, 9-2 off of
No,
all
yeah,
that, you know,
statistics.
stats guy.
Trend.
You're the real bag man.
Yeah, you want
Mario,
that?
Yeah.
Give us the last leg of this.
Yeah,
parlay.
last leg of this parlay here. Okay,
Leg
guys.
it.
I'm sitting at 2-2. Okay?
Leg it.
50%,
50.
perfectly even, parallel, 38th
5-0.
parallel.
Oh.
Shout out Korea.
39th parallel.
39th.
Shout out
39th.
Korea.
I think it's 38th.
Shout
Stat
out
correction.
North Korea.
Stat
Shout
correction
out
is the 38th or
Koreans.
39th. It'll be right here if Mario's
Yeah,
right. My mortal this week. I have to go with the Tigers. Not just any
Whoa.
Tigers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
We're going Clemson minus 21.
Oh, shit! Wow!
I already knew it.
The Cardinals.
I already
Wow!
F the Cardinals.
I already knew it.
I don't know if you guys know.
That's a pick
But
right
like
there.
Garrett Riley, Cade Klubnik, they both have like massive and they're about
Massive.
to flex
Whoa, whoa,
them
whoa, whoa,
all
whoa,
over
whoa.
Stanford. 'cause
Tyler's
They're gonna
seen
win.
both of theirs.
They're gonna win by 50,
I haven't.
maybe 60.
Yeah.
I love it.
You want a stat to back this up real quick?
Give me a stat.
Just real quick. Clemson is the first team in FBS history
First team.
against FBS opponents to go up 28-0 in back-to-back first quarters.
Ooh.
Make it 3 in a row.
Never happened in college football history. FBS
make it 3 in a
opponents
row.
28-0, 28-0.
Tres.
So, I love that. So if Clemson covers, what, 21.5?
21.5.
If
Easy.
Oklahoma and Auburn go over
45 and a half.
45.5, and Navy covers minus 3.5 against UAB. We are paying one person who likes, comments, and is a subscriber $450.
Bang!
All you
Bang!
have to do, literally leave us a comment, like the videos, and of course be a subscriber. We're well over 1,000 now. Thank you guys for all the support. We're gonna
Praise
keep running.
you.
We're gonna keep
Praise
running up,
you.
and hopefully we're gonna start paying you some money.
Yeah.
Ryan, you're 0-4 in Mortals. You got a bag on your head. You gotta take the bag off at some time. Is this the week you win?
Yeah,
I
just-
think so. I hope so. We're
so.
rooting for you. What is your mortal?
Yeah, I'm a huge advocate for taking the bag off, so I'm going to try to do that trend this next week. I'm going to go with Ole Miss minus 17.5 versus Kentucky. Jackson Dart's playing out of his Ole Miss is going to score a billion. Kentucky's overrated after last week. They just had a good game at home. Ole Miss at home this week should be a murder.
All right, there you have it.
I also have the crappy pick of the week
Oh,
sent
shit.
in to me by intern Johnson
He's
himself.
not even here today.
He's not even
Intern
here.
I mean, intern Johnson,
Why
why
don't
do
we
we
get a new intern?
If you want to intern for us, drop a comment.
Yeah,
We're probably
why do we
firing-
give him time off?
No, we didn't. He just went to Hawaii.
Why did we not fire him?
Yeah, no, it's PTO.
Yeah, it's PTO. We don't have PTO.
You
I
know.
think Ryan took his PTO last week.
Hell yeah, baby.
Yeah. When are we? We're not taking vacation.
Who's getting my
Well,
dinner
we're all gonna
tonight?
have
Strip
PTO
club.
after this crappy pick of the week hits. It's gonna be
All right.
Bowling Green minus 9 against Old Dominion.
What the
What?
I love it!
No,
All right,
no.
well, I'm definitely
All
not
over.
betting that game
I'm
because
betting
that's
No, I am.
He's
back.
stupid.
I'm not gonna add to the card, but I'll be betting.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not
I'll be
adding
back.
it.
But yeah, Mario, before the people go ahead and enjoy their beautiful Thursday evening and start placing these college bets, tell them
Gorgeous.
what they got to do.
If you're watching us right now, we're about to pay out some money. I'm
yeah,
feeling it
we
this
are.
week. The juices are flowing. I don't know if you guys feel it. I feel it in my veins right now.
Yeah.
We got
Yeah,
game
in
of
your
the
bones.
game of the year.
Game of the year.
Georgia Bama. We cover that tomorrow. Make sure you
Game
tune
of the
in.
year to date.
We got all these stats. We got all these numbers. Just bet everything you
fucking
have.
throwing shit out.
Put all your money down and let's make $1 million this week.
$1 million!
Make sure you subscribe. Make sure
get
you
it.
leave a like. Leave a comment. Let us know if you're fading us this week or if you're actually riding us. If you
Ride
believe
me.
in us.
Are
Ride
you
me
fading
good.
Ryan's mortal or are you riding
No,
it?
no. Season
Get
starts
back.
now.
Get
Season
back.
starts now.
Yeah, f- you, Max!
We undefeated.
Season starts now.
I'm
We're
undefeated.
undefeated. Line in the
Wrong.
sand.
Line in
We're in the
sand.
trenches.
All 4 of us hit this week.
Let's fucking get it.
Share this video with a friend.
We
Turn
wanna
that
pay you.
notification bell on. We'll see you next week.
Whoa, that,
Bang!
that table was shaking.
Boom! Shaking with power!
I don't know. Shaking.
Go Tigers.